Yes, is this understood? From
Yes,
time
sir.
t is equal to
Yes,
t
sir.
by 4 to t is equal to 3t by 4 seconds, average velocity is 0. That's because of total displacement with total time is 0. That is called as average velocity. That is the concept of average velocity.
Yes, sir.
Now, the second point, let us see the second point. Now, before getting to know to solve the second point, we should find out several h values from this ground to t by 2 time. It has reached the maximum height h. What would be the distance covered by the, or what would be the height at which this is at t by 4? Don't guess out as h by 2. That is total wrong answer. Do not think it is h by 4, h by 2 or anything like that. Why? Total time from here to here is t by 2. The half of the time doesn't make you height half. No, that's not correct. We have to find that h dash. What is that h dash? U t dash. What is t dash from here to here? T by 4, is it or not?
Yes, sir.
Ut minus half g t by 4 whole square. But we already have one equation for capital H. Maximum height, one formula. What is the actual maximum height is equal to U t by 2 minus half g t by 2 square.
Whole square.
Yes? Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
This is the general thing. But what is t by 2? What is actually t by 2? Time of ascent, which we have already derived that time of ascent as u by g, is it or not?
Yes, sir.
So wherever t by 2 is, you can substitute as u by g. So that is the reason this h becomes, you check that you will get u square by 2g you will get. Because u into u by g minus half g into wherever that is u by g whole square. If you solve this, you know 1 minus half I taught that day. That will become u square by 2g. Similarly, you have to solve this also. So when t by 2 is equal to u by g, what would t by 4 be? U by 2g, is it or not?
Yes, sir.
So now you substitute that, now you will get a totally different answer. U by 2g whole square. What would this h dash be? Your guess will not be the correct answer. You get something else. U square
U
by 2.
square by 2g minus half u square g by 2g, which is u square g by 2.
Or g square.
I mean u square by 2.
4G
If u
square.
square by 2g, if I take common, if I take u square by 2g, I'll take common now. Then it will be 1 minus 1 by 4, is it or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So what are you getting it? 3 by 4 of maximum height. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
Understood? Both of you. So your h
Yes,
dash
sir.
is not simply as linear as half of it. Time became half, maximum height doesn't become half. Maximum height becomes 3 by 4. Please write this. Is it understood very clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can copy that. You see the B part, what is he asking there? Change in the velocity from time t is equal to 0, from time t is equal to 0 to another time t is equal to t by 4, capital T by 4. What is the change in the velocity? He's saying that is the change in the velocity means delta v, is it or not? That is something v2 minus v1 something. Okay. Another change is saying the change in the velocity from t is equals to small t is equals to t by 8 to another value 3t by 8. How do we check this? No need to solve all of this. Will this delta v1 and will this delta v2 be equal or not? We have to check. How can we check is, if you see the body is vertically accelerated body and then vertically it is decelerated body. Is it or not? With a constant
Yes, sir.
acceleration a is equals to g. Yes, we know that. What is the meaning of acceleration? Acceleration means rate of change of velocity. By definition, it is that. So, rate of change of means delta V1 by delta T1 is called as acceleration. Is it or not? If your delta T1 is same, then what would happen? Delta V1 will be equal to delta V2. Why? Because the acceleration is anyway same. Is it understood by both of you?
Yes, sir.
If your delta T1 and delta T2 are equal, obviously the numerators will be equal. So we have to check that only. Delta T1 between these two, we have to check, and delta T2 between these two, we have to check. Then we will get a relation between delta V1 and delta V2. Let us check what is the delta T1. It is nothing but T2, this one, this other time, the higher time minus lower time, which is equal to simply T by 4 luckily here. What is delta T2? We can subtract that. 3t by 8 minus t by 8 they said there. Is it satisfying? Yes. If you write that, the new denominator is anyway 8. 3 minus 1 is 4. 3 minus 1 is, sorry, 2. 2t. If you see, this is also coming as the same time. Is it or not? It is also
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
coming
sir.
by 4. So since these two are equal, that means the change in the velocities are also equal. Therefore, delta V1 will and must be equal to delta V2. Since the reason is delta T1 exactly equal to here delta T2. Is it understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Since acceleration is the only constancy which we know here, let us go for the third one. The distance traveled from t is equal to 0 to t by 4 second is larger than the distance traveled from t is equal to t by 4 second to 3 by 4 second. We have to check this also. How do we check that? How do we check that? Any idea? Distance traveled. What is the meaning of distance traveled? Distance traveled is here in the case displacement and distance are not the same. We have to check the points. Where is 0? Where is t by 4? Luckily, 0 and t by 4 lie on the same line. So distance and displacement are same in this situation. Is it or not? At
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
equal 0 and t by 4 are on the same line, upward line. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this
Yes, sir.
distance, we know what is this distance 0 to t by 4. What is the distance? It is covered. Just now we did 3 h by 4. That is the distance covered from 0 to t by 4. Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now what is he saying? Distance traveled from t by 4 second to 3t by 4 second. So this is t by 4. From t by 4, it will go up, 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 and it will become t by 2. This is t by 2.
Yes, sir.
Not much understood. Below that, there is another point. 3t by 8. Sorry, 3t by 4 second. No, no. Ah, this is one
Yes, sir.
fourth. This is one fourth, three fourth. Oh, sorry, I did wrong here.
The 3t by 4 is to the other side, no, sir?
It's a bigger number, yeah. Checking. So where is 3t by 4? It will be here. 3t by 4. So what is he saying? Distance traveled from t by 4 to 3t by 4. This distance he's asking. This distance, how do we find? First of all, there I told you yesterday only. We cannot find distance directly. Only way is to find out the displacement and double it up. I told you that. Is it or not? So only way is
2 into 1 by 2 of displacement.
2 into the distance covered from here to here, or displacement covered from here to here. We know this is 3h by 4 from here to here. So what would this be? Total is h. This is 3h by 4. What would this be? H by 4. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
So from t is equal to, understood or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Understood,
4
sir.
to t by 2, how much distance it would cover? It is simply capital H minus of the remaining distance, what we just now found. Is it or not? That is how much?
Yes, sir.
H by 4. So this distance will be h by 4. This is h by 4. Is it or not? So the double from t
Yes, sir.
by 4 to 3t by 4, the total distance he is asking. Total distance will be simply multiplied by 2. How much is that? Capital H by 2. Is it or not? Are we getting the same answer? We're not getting the same answer. Is it or not? This distance is different. This distance is different. So the C option is wrong. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Now let us check the D option. Understood this, Srinandan? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Huh? Yes. Let us check the D option. Distance traveled. Can I rub it or you are copying it?
Sir. I copied.
Can I totally rub it off? I'm rubbing it.
Yes, sir.
Is it not?
Done, sir.
Okay. Some problem. It was not rubbing actually. Okay. So the fourth option we have to check now. Distance traveled from t is equal to t by 2 to 3t by 4. The body is going up and coming like this. This is 0. This is my t by 4. This is my t by 2. This is my 3t by 4. And obviously this is my t. What is he saying? Distance traveled from t by 2 to 3t by 4 is equal is something is half the distance traveled from t by 2 to t. Yes, it is correct. No, t by 2 to t is h, quite obviously. Yes or no? And t by 2 to this will be exactly h by 2. Correct. Just now we found out that also. Understood that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So we got that is correct. Fully correct. Okay. Clear, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Understood. Shall I rub it off?
Yes, sir.
So A, B, and D options are fully correct. Let us start doing vectors. I'll tell you the concept of vectors. It's very easy. Vectors. What are vectors? Already you have some idea about these. The definition as it goes, it's a physical quantity which has magnitude. Already we dealt with physical quantities which have magnitude. What are those? Length, mass, time, force, all these I told you, right, in units and dimensions. So all physical
Yes,
quantities
sir.
have magnitude, quite obviously, because we did a chapter only for measuring the magnitude of length using vernier caliper, screw gauge. We have also found out the volume and area. So magnitude is quite obvious, everything will have magnitude. Plus direction in a specified way. Specified direction should be there, that you should know. Not any direction, specified direction it should have, and it should be linear. The direction can't be changing every second. So that is called a vector. Vector basically is a physical quantity which has magnitude and a specified direction. So basically when if you're going on a freeway or a highway, if you're going on a highway, then you are actually going on a straight line. If you're going on a highway, you're going straight, then you are going in a vector way, or you're traveling in displacement. Your carom board striker goes like that. Displacement, we call it. So displacement is a vector. If you are traveling, if you want to travel from this point A to this point B, but you didn't go like this straight, you went taking curves like this, then it is called distance and it is not a vector. The name for that is scalar. Okay. This,
So only magnitude is scalar and magnitude plus direction is vector, sir.
yeah, scalar plus direction is only called as a vector. Scalar is basically a magnitude. Scalar, so all scalars are magnitude, but no direction. Either they don't have any direction or they have a direction which keeps changing. You see this path, it keeps changing its direction. Is it or not? The direction is changing.
Yes, sir.
It's not having a fixed direction. Originally, you see here it was eastwards. Now it is southwards. Then it is going southeastern. Then again northwestern, northeast. Like that, all directions are changing, right? So that is why it is not having specified direction. So it is termed as a scalar. That is eighth standard knowledge. Even eighth standard children know this much. Now, what we should know in our 11th standard MPC at least is we don't speak like this. We speak regards to coordinate system. There are something called coordinate system, x coordinate and y coordinate system. Whenever we speak about vectors, we speak about coordinate system. So we have an x-axis, we have a y-axis. Now, if the body was traveling, for example, the body was traveling like this, it is neither in x-axis nor in y-axis. But if you check the direction, one of its, if you check it carefully, like you have to experimentally understand if the person is standing here, he will feel that the ball is going also. If the fielder, for example, he is a fielder, he observes the fielder goes like this. And what does he observe? He will also observe that the ball is going along with him. The ball is also traveling. Imagine a person in a helicopter. What does the helicopter person feel? Helicopter is the only thing which goes vertically upwards. Is it or not? So vertically taking off with the helicopter, what does a person inside helicopter see? He sees that the ball is going upwards along with him. So who's right? Both are right. Both of them are right because the velocity has an x component and it also has a y component. Or in other ways, x shadow and y shadow. So x component also it is having and y component also it is having. What is component? Did you understand? No. What is component from trigonometry? Knowing this x component, y component is very easy. So what they did was on x-axis, each unit on x-axis, each unit is termed as is given by a unit vector. What is the unit vector on x-axis? They gave a name for that unit vector on x-axis, and they said that as they gave a name. What is that name? Is I cap, I cap, cap, cap. And one unit on y-axis is called a j cap. That's it. Why do we call like this? It is simply nothing but 1 centimeter on x-axis. The full sentence 1 centimeter x-axis is equal to I cap. If you are dealing in CGS system, okay, if you are an MKS system, what is that? One I cap is equal to 1 meter. 1 meter. Okay, 1 meter will be 1 unit. Is it understood? Simply, it is 1 unit. So the unit here, units and dimensions we already did. So 1 meter of x is here I cap if you are dealing in MKS system. We already know units. Is it or not? So basically,
Yes,
definition
sir.
1 unit along x-axis. Similarly, what is j cap? What would be j cap? One.
1 unit on y-axis.
That's it. Do not get confused that both should be equal along y-axis.
Sir, where is the K cap, sir?
Yes,
Where is the K cap, sir?
I will tell you
Sir,
1 unit on z-axis.
on
3D.
z-axis, but we are doing now only two-dimensional. I will tell you the three-dimension. The third
okay,
dimension is the z-axis. We cannot draw the z-axis here. That's why I drew only x and y-axis. To
okay,
draw all the three axes, we need little bit of drawing capacity. See here. This is, I'll draw the third axis. Yes, it looks like that. Ah. Now all the three axes you can see there. Let us give them
yes, sir.
different colors. This is my this is my K. Okay. Now this is my x-axis. It will have its own negative x-axis also. This is my y-axis. It will have its own, what do you call as negative y-axis downwards. Is it looking like a three-dimensional figure?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is my z-axis. So it will have its own negative z-axis that side. Okay, into the plane of the paper, outside of the plane of the paper. This z-axis is outside of the plane of the paper, out of the plane of paper, and this is into the plane of the paper. Okay, x and y are on the plane of the paper. Is it understood? Hmm? So
Yes, sir.
take the vector traveling along three dimensions, then one unit along z-axis is only called as k cap. Okay, is it understood? What is k cap now? It is one unit. Along along z-axis. Okay, right. So having known these basics, these are the basics. Having known these, shall I rub it?
Wait a minute, sir. Copying, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Okay. So these are the introduction about vectors. So now we have to draw one vector. Now please understand I am drawing a two-dimensional vector or a three-dimensional vector. It will have I, J, K, three components along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. But diagrammatically I can only show you x and y-axis. I cannot show you the z-axis diagrammatically because we cannot draw on a two-dimensional figure. We cannot draw the z component. That is the problem. So that's why I'm just taking a two-dimensional vector. Why? You'll understand why I'm drawing only two-dimensional vector. If at all there is a vector like this, if at all, imagine there is a vector like this. Okay, then it will have its x component. What is x component? Basically, it is the shadow of it on the x-axis. Is it understood now? This length on the x-axis is called its x component. Similarly, you see its head, no, and the tail. Project in mathematics we call projection. The projection of it on x-axis is called its x component. The projection of it on the y component, y-axis is called its y component. Is that so clear? To understand this, the length of the vector, let us assume the length of the vector is r. Length of the vector is r. For example, I will give you units, then you will understand what is length of the vector. For example, I take here 7 comma, I want this unit as 3. Okay. So I have to take here 7 comma 0 is a coordinate. Okay. And here 4 comma 0 is one coordinate. So what would this be like? And this is 5. It is like 5 is coming. Any coordinates, I'm trying to fix up the coordinates. 5 comma 1. No, 1 will not solve us. Uh, some unit I should have 5 here on the y-axis and 4 units, 5 plus 4, 9. X coordinate, I should take some coordinate here. 0. X coordinate is 0, right? These are x coordinate 0. Yeah. Now it solves everything. You check these coordinates, you'll get everything. This will help you. The unit, I want this length as 5. That's why I'm making the units. Understood? Those numbers I'm trying to find out.
Yes, sir.
So what would this be? 7 comma 9. This would be here. What would be here? 4 comma 5. See this. Now, if I want to find out the length of this vector, what is the length of the vector? Root over, what is the formula? From mathematics, x2 minus x1. You remember this or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Plus y2 minus
Y2
Y2
minus
minus
Y1.
Y1.
whole square. Is it or not? So if you do
Yes,
that,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Distance
It will
between
give you
A
the
and
correct
B, sir.
answers. 9 minus 4 is how much? No, sorry, 9 minus 5 is how much?
4 square plus.
And 7 minus 4 is how much? 3 square. I just want those numbers 3 square, 4 square. Otherwise, I could have taken any random numbers, no problem. Even if I take random numbers, I will get it. But root overs and all that will come. I don't like that root overs. That's why non Pythagoras numbers I'm taking. Understood? So that's why I had to waste some time there. So 7 minus 4 here, whole square. So what would that be? This would be 4 square
16 plus
plus
12.
square. How much that would be? 25. This is 5. Is it or not? So the length of
Yes, sir.
vector I got is 5. Is this understood till this is simple. Simple mathematics which you already did in 10th standard. Yes? Now I am going to extend this knowledge of yours to a known concept. See here I am going to make this as a triangle. I'm going to make this as a triangle. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to make this as a triangle. Then this is the right angle triangle, is it or not? This is the right
Yes,
angle
sir.
triangle. Let us name some names from alphabets A, B, and C. What would BC be? And if you know this theta, if you know this theta, then what would that BC be? We can know it by adjacent side by hypotenuse. BC by R is equal to cos theta. Do you agree? Hello, are you listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So BC would be what? R cos theta. Is it or not? Similarly, if I want to find out, what I want to find out is AC. How would I find AC? Opposite side by hypotenuse is equal to how much? Sin theta. So what would AC become?
R sin theta.
Uh, this is so this is what is very difficult to be done in three dimensions. In three dimensions, we have something else to do. We cannot use simple geometry and simple. We cannot use simple trigonometry there. We also have something else called direction cosines, direction ratios. We have to use those to do them. But here we can do them very easily. In two dimensions, it's easy to solve. Is this understood? So now, this if this vector which I have defined, vector AB, if it was a velocity vector, then this BC is also one velocity vector, is it or not? What would that BC
Yes, sir.
vector be? It is nothing but velocity along x-axis. And what would this AC be? It is velocity along y-axis. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
So how would we get those velocity vectors? Simplify. If you know the original velocity vector, here these are not velocity vectors. These are all displacement vectors. This BC is the displacement along x-axis. Is it or not? And AC is the displacement along y-axis, which we write this as small y is equal to R sine theta. And this is nothing, BC is nothing but small x is equal to R cos theta. Now, if you differentiate this with respect to time, you will get the velocity vectors. Is it or not? Huh?
Yes, sir.
That's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you want, you can note it.